action, so we should be able to go live on both sides, gun channels and YouTube side. So, all right. Okay, guys, it looks like we are live right now. We've got a few people that are waiting. It should be starting up here any moment now on the YouTube side. So, guys, I want to thank you for joining me. This is Caliber Corner number 8. There we go. And today we are talking about prepping part 2, because last week when we had the discussion, we really didn't even get into what your options are if you want to get into prepping food. So we're going to focus on food preps. We're going to focus on water preps. I'll share some ideas with you guys for what I do, and we'll pretty much go from there. But before we do that, let's check and see who's out there in the chat. We've already got a bunch of people. We've got Scott Pacini's out there. Good morning, Scott. We got Charlie Dunn out there. What's up? Just my blood pressure, bro. And and that's because I'm all completely jacked up on caffeine right now. I had a viewer send me a packet of coffee that he roasted, some Nicaraguan single estate. This stuff is my go juice this morning. It's fantastic. 04 Hemi's out there. Grim 90's there. What's going on, guys? Deuce Driver 610 is out there. Good morning, guys. Now let's check the gun channel side and see who's out there. We got Patrick going on. Nice Strike's out there having a conversation, and Nice Strike's here. How do you do that? How are you in 2 places at one time? That is amazing. I
could be in 4 places at one time.
There you go.
He's got dual personalities.
There you go. There you go. All right. Hey, let's let the panel go ahead and introduce themselves. We might have a few people joining in. Starting on my left, AWAG. You got anything you want to plug? What do you got to say, man?
Don't worry, I'm just the other dumbass civilian.
Oh, man. All right. And videos, have you posted anything recently on your YouTube channel?
I did a little short video on proper seat adjustment for driving, and that's about it.
Cool, cool. How's the Super running, man? I got to ask you that every week, because every week's like a new story. It's like having a child that you just brought home. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been running pretty good. I drove it since like 11 o'clock last night. I was out in one of the main cities near my house, just cruising around. Oh, that was fun.
All right, cool. Trying to survive that heat, right? And that humidity. It's just nasty out there. Gotcha, man.
Top off and the windows down.
Oh yeah. And I can't remember. You got a one-piece target top, or is it T-tops?
It's a one-piece target.
That's awesome. All right, and then we've got the other Travis joining us. We might need to go by like TP and TM when we're on Matt's podcast, because I hate calling you the other Travis. It's like you're the unloved child, and that's not how it is. So
that's okay. I don't mind.
No.
Big
Yes, he is.
Big Trav and Little Trav. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's the redheaded stepchild Travis.
I was the firstborn, as they say in Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah.
TM, you want to plug anything, man? How's your channel coming along? You getting things started?
No, I haven't really been able to play with anything yet. It's been busy at the restaurant. I lost a couple of guys, so it's always an adventure when you're running short staffed.
Okay, man, I'll be there tomorrow. I got some experience in that area. I can do it. Let's do this.
Your ass up here.
Do you need a hostess?
I need the hostess with the mostest.
I said hostess. That's the scary part. Yeah.
You're going to have to wear a dress, but I know a guy that maybe could loan you one.
I've contemplated a utility kilt. Does that count?
A tactical kilt?
If I were you, I wouldn't finish that sentence.
Tactical kilt? Yeah. All right.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that.
All right. Okay, moving off to the right. Night Strike, what is going on, man? Thank you for joining us this morning. You said you're a little sleepy. What's up?
I'm gonna go hide there in the corner of Caliber Corner and just sleep. So wake me up if anything happens.
We'll throw some Daytrex bars at you to wake you up. Okay, these things are a little heavy, so you might want to dodge them. Remember, if you can dodge a Daytrex bar, you can dodge a bullet. Wait a minute, what? No.
Well, you know what they say: if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Yeah, that's what I was taking it from. Little dodgeball action going on there. Cool. And Nice Strike. Any shows you wanna plug? Something happens on Tuesday nights. What happens every Tuesday night?
Whoa! Something happens on Tuesday nights?
Yeah.
Why wasn't I informed?
There's a lot of hitting and missing going on Tuesday nights.
Sometimes you hit it, sometimes you don't.
Oh, right. Yeah, hit or miss Tuesday nights, 9 o'clock.
All right. Sorry, TM. I was having completely different thoughts there for a second. Get my mind out of the gutter. All right. Cool, man. Tuesday nights, 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Time? I know you just said it. I was kind of laughing over you. So
9 Eastern.
9 Eastern, the only time zone that matters, right?
The only time zone that matters, right?
I'm not numbered 3 to 1 here, so, us poor Central Time people, I feel sorry for Mountain Time, because they never put Mountain Time whenever they put the times for shows and sports. It's always like Pacific and sometimes Central and Eastern. It's just crazy.
Remember, GWebs is on Mountain Time.
I thought Arizona's like their own time zone, though.
No, Arizona's Mountain Time.
But Mountain Time does adopt daylight savings time, though, outside of Arizona, right?
Outside Arizona, yes.
Outside of Arizona, okay. See, I would not even know what time it is. What time it is there? I'm 90 miles east of Mountain Time right now. So yeah. All right. So let's see what's going on here. So today, guys, let's see if we have anybody else that popped up in gun channel side. We got Patrick over there on the gun channel side. And okay, so last week we got to have some conversation time with my grandpa, and then we talked about veterans and how important it is to get their stories. I'd like to get my grandpa on a Caliber Corner. I do want to apologize. I wasn't able to recognize the gun channels side last week. I was at my grandparents' house, and the reason why I was there is we were upgrading their internet connection to cable internet from DSL. I was running DSL during the podcast, so I was very limited with what I could open and what I could run without it lagging. So now that they've got a solid connection, there's no excuse for me not to host Caliber Corner on Saturday mornings. If you don't mind my grandpa popping by to say hello. And my grandma, who knows? I don't even know where she was at that morning. So that's kind of my apologies going out there on the gun channel side. All right, so we were talking about prepping. All of us kind of shared our philosophies and what we do. And what I wanted to do is just kind of start off talking about some options that you have. There's a lot of different ways you can get into building up your food stocks, and you don't have to spend a lot of money. You don't even necessarily have to order anything online. And each of you briefly shared with me last week what it is that you do for your food preps. I mean, just to get it out right now, I've got probably about a 60-day food supply for my wife and I. Water, we buy cases of water at Sam's Club, and we've got a couple Life Straws. So, and I've taken the lazy approach to it. So the first one I want to start off with is talking about these. If you got room for them, okay, and I'm not being endorsed by any particular brand. This is just kind of the first one that pops up on a Google search. Your Mountain House Essential Bucket. So what I have here is, let's see, this would be five days worth of food for 2 people. Now, I don't have like a whole wall of these. I've actually got a bunch of different buckets that I use. So, hey, it looks like we got somebody joining in here. Foos, what's going on, man?
Nothing much. Heading to the range.
Ah, that's a good place to go.
Yeah.
Foos, we're just talking about, I can't remember, did you have any shows that you wanted to plug or any episodes you filmed and put up on YouTube? You did some on Reloading, right? Are those still up on YouTube?
Yeah, they're still up on YouTube under on my channel, and on Gun Channel's Reloaders chat. We have some from middle to late of last year, yeah.
Okay, cool. Good deal, man. So, hey, I want to thank you for joining us, man. You know, feel free, stay as long as you can. When you get to the range, I understand. Or you can just let your phone run while you shoot. That's cool. We can watch. I'm cool with that. Put that up on Instagram. Put that on Instagram, dude. You'll have all kinds of people watching it at the same time.
Virtual range visit.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing that when I go today. I'm actually going this evening with my stepdad. They're coming out. Him and my mom are coming out, so we're going to go put a few rounds through the Glocks and have a good time. Sweet, man.
It's already 82 degrees. If I wait till too much later, it's supposed to be triple digits here.
Okay, now we're 72, but we're about 65% humidity. It was 97 yesterday. I swear to God, I thought I moved to Orlando or Miami. It was or Houston. It was I'm used to it because I'm outside a lot during the day. Man, every time I go out, I come back in, I'm just like soaked. I mean, I'm usually not a bad sweater, but man, it was just last night was, you could just cut it with a knife. It was so bad out. I can't wait for fall. I miss those days when I was freezing my butt off filming at the range. I'll tell you that right now. I miss the 20 degrees with the north wind. Yo.
Don't complain about humidity to me. I get like
I know.
Today it's like 80% humidity here.
Yeah, the weather is always worse everywhere else. I get it, but I have a taste of what it's like, and I feel sorry for you, sir. So there's plenty of room out for you here in Nebraska if you ever want to move out here, right?
Fuck no, I don't want hail. I don't want hail the size of golf balls hitting me.
You've only got 6 months out of the year. You got to worry about that.
So you guys are talking about humidity.
Yeah.
There's overlooking my range. You see out in the back. That's nothing but moisture in the air. It's like 80+% humidity right now.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be sweating my ass off.
The nice thing is though, it's uncomfortable. Once you get soaked, it doesn't matter anymore. Then you're just like, okay, I'm gross. I'm gonna just now you kind of adjust to it. It can just be crazy, man. Just crazy.
You need to get some anti-aircraft weaponry out there to get that hail out of the sky for you.
Oh, dude, we've been lucky where I live, and we haven't been hit much. But like I said, the car got nailed a month ago when we came back from vacation. But Yeah. Nice, Strike. There's a question over on the YouTube side. Somebody wants to know where you live. You want to let them know?
Yeah, I live in Charleston, South Carolina, more or less.
Very nice. So, yeah, so you know humidity. I couldn't imagine how awesome the winters are there, though.
Yeah, the winters. We have 2 seasons here in South Carolina. We have
hot
summer,
and cold.
We have summer and sprinter.
No, it's freeze your balls off or sweat your ass off.
In Pennsylvania, they say there's 3 seasons. It's winter, and then construction, and construction.
Hey, that's so true.
They're always fucking ripping something up around here, man.
The roads, the buildings.
Right.
Yeah, oh, it's brutal.
Okay, now you guys are complaining about winter because that's my domain there. How cold are we talking, Nicer? What is the lowest temperature you guys have to endure for any length of time?
The lowest temperature?
Yeah, what do you guys really? Are we talking 30s? You guys ever hit below 30 or not?
Yeah, we hit below 30 all the time. So
okay,
anywhere,
cool.
I would say normally anywhere between the 20s and the 30s and the low 30s, but there are times where it does get even below.
Okay.
Below like, not to zero.
I was going to say, have you hit zero? Because sub-zero is a very interesting experience. If you've ever worked in a grocery store and walked in the freezer.
I don't think we've ever hit zero, but I think the lowest we've had is like, 12 or 14 degrees.
Sub-zero is like a deep cold that just like soaks through your winter clothes. It's like your nose, you walk outside and your nose will freeze shut. It is the craziest experience, but you get used to it after a while. I just try not to pay attention to it, but the older I get, the less I like the real extreme cold, And the worst part, luckily we've got garages now for our cars, but before when we were renting, the scraping was awful. Like trying to get ice off your car when it's 5 or 10 below is unreal. Yeah.
Travis, the colder it gets, what you need to do is the colder it gets, the more alcohol you need to drink to help thin out your blood.
Well, I'm generally going to school in the morning, so that's probably not a good idea. But
yeah, you can't be drinking with your students.
Okay,
yeah, no, bad idea.
Put up with your students.
Dude, it's not bad. I've been doing this for 17 years, man. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. The longer I've been doing it, the tougher the kids get, but the easier the actual job itself is, the work itself, because you're used to the pressure from it. But it's not
the planning and everything you already have done.
Yeah, I've got that down. I've already planned so many, like 3 or 4 different sets of curriculum. Everything's now done digitally. It's a lot easier than it was when I first started back in 01. So, man.
My brother's a teacher and football coach in high school.
Oh.
He was bitching about it for about the first 5 years, and after that, he's used to it by now.
Well, basically 4 out of 10 stop within the first 7 years. I mean, I'm not ripping on my district, but in the building that I'm in, since I started there's only 5 people above me, and there's only probably 2 or 3 people left in the district that are still there since I started in 01. That I can think of that started with me exclusively in 01. So it's not easy. It's a lot of stress, especially when you talk about parents and all the different meetings you got to go to, the paperwork and stuff. But that's a whole different prepper story. that's a whole different SHTF scenario. So
shit.
Yeah. All right, so let's go and get back to it. So I was talking about these little prepper buckets. There's an easier way to get into building up your food stocks. Charlie, man, you're welcome, dude. No problem, buddy. He said, thanks for teaching. No problem. I love it. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't do it. I mean, seriously, there's a lot of other options I have and had down the road. So, so when we're talking about building up food stocks, one of the easiest ways to get started is taking into consideration canned goods. They've generally got a shelf life. I'd say a minimum of 2 years. Most canned goods you look at, sometimes 3. But I'll tell you right now, if you're going to build up canned good stocks, you need to rotate them. I've seen several videos on YouTube where guys open up their canned goods that are 3 years old, and there's mold in the canned goods. And remember one thing about mold, guys. You might say, I can just cut that off and eat around it. Mold is like a tree. It's like tree roots, man. It grows into the stuff that it eats. If you ever have moldy bread, it's there. It's getting in the vascular system of your bread. So you got to watch out when you cut off mold, because you could still be consuming that. And I can't imagine what some of the mold is like on canned meats and stuff like that and fruits. So be very careful if you're going to build up a canned goods stock, okay?
Well, you got to be super careful with canned goods too, with botulism.
Oh yeah, you dent them or ding them, or if you don't store them at the right temperature, you got to.
Botulism doesn't need oxygen to survive. So, people people don't know a lot of the cans, aluminum cans or whatever, have a lining inside. If you dent that can and that lining cracks, it can react with the food, and you can have some really nasty stuff happen. That's why dented cans, and people try and save a little bit of money by buying dented cans, and people die from that. It's not necessarily the smartest thing to do.
If you dent them yourself, or just eat them within a day or two.
See, and I'm surprised that grocery stores are allowed here. Grocery stores sell dented cans on clearance, and I don't know legally how they can even do that because of the potential for what can happen from it.
It's just like eating undercooked food. Like if you order a burger mid-rare, they have to have the warnings on the restaurant, the menu now that says you're increasing your risk of foodborne illness. I'm sure somewhere written is like, you buy it, it's up to you to decide, whether it's safe or not. We have no liability, which I think is bullshit.
You also have to think, do you think they give a shit about your health? I mean, look what they're allowed to sell.
Yeah. But the backlash from having something like that happen could be devastating to a business, So they might not care about you, but they're gonna care about the money that might stop coming in,
Yeah, it just surprises me that they're allowed to do that. So the canned good route is a good way to go. And if for anybody watching or listening, or anybody that listens to this down the road, take $20, go to a Dollar Tree, and you will be amazed what you can get for $20. I did just a little short video on what I was able to bring back, like the grains that they have. You've got rice and beans. You've got lots of different kinds of canned meats. I'm not going to say it's the most nutritious food that you could buy, but it's more like a comfort food stock you could build up, or it's something you could live on for a couple days if you had to, say your electricity goes out. And again, we mentioned this before. The first thing that people go buy whenever a storm is going to come in is bread and milk. I mean, that's actually historically recorded in retail sales.
Absolutely.
Bread and milk, which your fridge turns off unless you got a generator. Yeah, you're screwed, man. Within 24 hours, your fridge is going to be shot. So
I've got a generator, though.
Yeah, you do. But what about millions of people live in apartment complexes? They don't. And I mean, I don't have one. I'm going to get one.
If you live in an apartment complex. Yeah.
Cartman?
You live in an apartment complex.
I don't want to live in.
If you've got a veranda or some sort of
patio,
a back patio for grilling or something, it doesn't have to be that large. You could probably get away during a long power outage. You could probably get away putting a generator in there and then patching it into your panel.
Now, could we just say, this is kind of off topic, but the higher quality you go with the generator, the less noise they make, like a Generac and a Honda versus what I'm going to go buy at Harbor Freight for $100? Do you think there's a difference in the noise level?
Oh, no, there's no difference in the noise level.
I doubt it. Yeah, I can't imagine.
Okay.
Because they're all gasoline. They're all gasoline unless you get the propane or the tri-fuel ones, but at the same time, they still make the same amount of noise. I've even looked at converting my generator to use to do tri-fuel, where it can do natural gas or just propane gas, as well as the gasoline portion, because that way I'll never run out of fuel because they'll always be able to find fuel for it.
Yeah. The reason why I'm asking about the noise, and I've talked about this before in chats, is after a couple of days, you got that generator running and your light is on or your fridge is on, your AC is running. You might have neighbors come knocking, hey, can we come upstairs into your nice, cool apartment? Or can we put some food in your fridge? You got a generator. So that's kind of something to consider. If you don't have stocks of food other than just what's in your pantry, you really do want to watch out,
Yeah, I'd be wary of anybody that tries to do that.
Yeah. So again, like we said, just go into the store, buying some canned goods. Now, when you're going into like the whole grain storage thing, I don't know the first thing about it. I suppose you could vacuum seal grains. I know people buy big bins of it and they vacuum seal those, or they throw in some packets of silica gel. I've also heard of people using like Mylar bags to store food and grain. Do you guys have any experience with that at all, like bulk storage of grains?
Well, with grains, for the most part, from what I've seen, they're even if you do vacuum pack them, they only have it's almost the same shelf life from my experience as, say, a canned good, only about 2 or 3 years. Now, some people have had better luck. Some of them had grains that they have in a bag shoved in the corner of their room for 25 years, and it's fine. But the atmospheric conditions in my area doesn't really pertain to like grains that much for long-term storage.
And what, insects are an issue too, right? You got to worry about
Yes.
bugs like hatching in those, even if it's vacuum sealed or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's just for protein.
Yeah, but I'd worry about like the eggs are gonna lay, some tapeworm action going on, whatever. I mean, I'm not a parasite expert, but I don't think I'd want to take the chance on it. So,
No, Travis, you'll be fine. Just roll around a little.
But I do encourage the purchase of a vacuum sealer. It's so versatile, it's not even funny. I actually have a video on my channel where I vacuum pack a firearm, and you can basically vacuum pack it twice and then just bury it in your backyard and it'll be fine.
You know, one of the earlier Iraqi veteran, I love watching his channel, whatever you guys think. But when Barry was still alive, he did one on vacuum sealing ammo. And I thought that was cool because I never thought about it. I've since then put silica gel packets, big ones, like commercial size ones, in all my ammo cans and in the vault. Yeah, just to keep the stuff from tarnishing, because we do have high humidity here, and I got to worry about that, even though the house is balanced out because of the air conditioning. But you know, you got to worry about that stuff going bad. So, but anyway, where was I going with that? But yeah, vacuum sealing is definitely pick up a vacuum sealer. I know a lot of people say, well, check Craigslist or check thrift stores, go hit garage sales. Just make sure you can get the bags for it, because a lot of those have proprietary bags that those companies made. So you get a vacuum sealer that's 20 years old and the bags are out of production. You know, you want to make sure, because I think Sam's Club or Costco carries just a generic different size sealing bags you can get in their kitchen section. So that'd be definitely an option to just vacuum seal what you get. So again, pros and cons. Go ahead.
I know, you know, for the restaurant, we bought a small food saver brand.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's funny, as much as I looked around to try and save money on the bags, getting them directly from the company off their website, they do a lot of sales. And the more you buy, you know, the cheaper they are.
Oh, yeah.
So if you would, you know, catch a sale and then buy a bunch at one time, it was actually way cheaper than even buying knockoffs.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
yeah. If you buy direct, you know, especially if you're buying big rolls of it, they're going to give you much better price per foot versus just going to Walmart to go buy whatever they have on the shelf, you know.
And that's what I suggest. Rolls of get the big rolls of the food saver stuff if you do go with a food saver, just because you can customize your packages basically instead of getting the pre-selected size where you can't exactly fit a rifle in a 6 by 12 inch bag.
No, that's a good point. When you look at the canned good, so some of the pros of the canned good route would be that you know, you can just go buy it locally. You can go buy it at your grocery store right now. $20, you can get a stock built up where you could go a few days. Cons: shelf life, preserving it. Bulk, you know, canned goods and box foods and stuff are going to take up a lot of space. I don't know if you're going to get 15 days worth of food or 5 days worth of food for 2 people out of a little bucket like this. I mean, this takes up so little space. You know, you can buy them and stack them. And I mean, I think I paid $50 for that. If you go on to Amazon, you can buy those buckets. They're pretty inexpensive. Yeah, Nice Truck, what's up?
Well, you know what you can do? You can can yourself as well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, that's another. I didn't even think about
yourself.
that. Yeah.
You know, granted, you're not traditionally using the cans that you'd see at the stores. You're using, like, you know, the mason jars.
Yeah, the wax seals.
But the thing is, those last for a long time too if you do it right. Because my grandmother used to do that all the damn time, and my mom also used to do all that. And we still have like a surplus of that stuff. Granted, normally, you know, with what we were doing, it was stuff that lasts for a long time. But the issue is, if you do it right, you don't have to worry about it.
You can go, what, 10, 15 years or 10 years. I know we've had canned stuff from my grandma's that was at least 5 years old and it was fine. You know, pickles or stewed tomatoes and stuff like that. Just as long as you follow directions, boil it, get everything sterilized properly and cook everything the way you need to before you can it. And you should jar it, you know, you should be good to go.
Yeah.
No, that's definitely another good idea, especially if you have a garden. I mean, everybody's always got a surplus of peppers and cucumbers you can make pickles out of, and potatoes and tomatoes and stuff like that. And those jars, if you go to like garage sales, or if you even just go to like your Walmart, you can buy 12 or 24 of those jars for $5. The lids aren't that expensive, and I don't know how to do it. I could probably do it if I had to. I mean, I got family members that do can and jar, which is probably a really good idea. Yeah, so that'd be another option. Pros and cons about the buckets. The con about the buckets is that you have to reconstitute a lot of that food with water. Those survival buckets, when you make those meals, and then we're not talking MREs. You have to have a way to boil the water, or you have to have a supply of fresh water to make that food. So that's something to take into consideration also if you're going to go the survival bucket route.
Well, one thing, go out and get the cans. Sorry, I was downrange and wasn't able to say about this, but don't try to cheap out and go with the gallons, because you want to be able to open it and eat whatever you're going to eat in like a day or two. You don't want to open up a gallon bucket and eat on it for 10, 12, 13 days or whatever.
Yeah, you're going to have to kind of watch out for that. Over on the YouTube side, John Z had mentioned, you can also mention how versatile the bags are for dry sealing things like paper rolls, other home essentials, TP, maybe some personal hygiene products. You can keep them dry, keep them sealed so they don't dry out or go bad. So that'd be another option.
Actually, as far as that, I did want to mention something I saw on the internet that I thought was pretty cool. On the internet, they've got these little either they call them mechanically compressed towels, or they're little coin towels.
Yeah.
Those would be. I looked at those, and those are good. You do have to use a little water to get them to uncompress.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is, once you do that, you can use those as toilet tissue. You can use them as regular towels if you need to in a pinch. But the issue is they're so small; they're about the size of 2 or 3
50-cent piece, basically. Yeah. They got them at. If you ever go to Dollar Tree, they've got bins full of them. I don't know if they sell them for $1 a piece or 2 for $1, but you probably buy them online even cheaper. Yeah, you just drop them. You drop them in water and they turn into a washcloth. Is that the ones you're talking about?
Yeah. They're like you can get a pack of 500 for $20 to $30 on online.
Yeah, definitely look around online when you go that route. That's another good one. So again, prepping personal hygiene products, and you need to watch if you prep like medicine and things like that, you definitely want to keep an eye on the expiration dates too.
Yeah, I don't prep medicine.
Also, I have is in the truck. I keep some of those space blankets.
Yeah, those are great.
What?
Those are great.
What'd you say? Yeah, I mean, if you're
great.
Up, in the middle of Nebraska, and it's sub-zero, you get stuck out there, just go ahead and I keep 5 or 6 of them in my truck, because I know that I'm a bigger guy. One of them isn't going to cover me, so but basically it's like however many people I probably have in my truck, I try to keep 1 or 2 for each person.
No, but that's
and
like
then,
what I
and
do.
not only that, but you're out there, you're taking windows and stuff like that, just to try to keep some of that heat inside.
That's what I do too. Is Midway had these disaster blankets that are, it's funny, they're made in some of the United States federal prisons. It's like Unicor or something, but they make these really thick disaster blankets. And Midway had a sale on them for I think they were $5 a piece. So I bought 2, and I put one in the Mustang and one in the Supra, just in case if my car breaks down and it's 10 degrees outside, because we've had winters here that are even single digits.
If your highway or interstate is closed and you're stuck on it, you might not get rescued for a couple hours. You don't want to go out and venture in that. You're safest in your vehicle. And a lot of people try to go walk to. You could be stuck for. Yeah.
Just think of Atlanta a few years ago when they had that ice storm. I mean, people were out on the highway there for 2 or 3 days.
Yeah. On those larger municipal areas, definitely need to keep that in consideration. That's why you should always have at least, say, a meal's worth and a couple bottles of water in your vehicle, or some way that you can get water especially if you're going to be hitting the highway. You should think about having and there's a lot of videos on YouTube on some travel packs that you can get going, that you can put together. And especially the wintertime. I mean, I'm a stickler. I've always got the bin in our car, so yeah.
I mean, honestly, you could go several days without food. So
yeah.
I usually don't have food in the truck, but I do have a few bottles of water, stuff like that I sit there and I rotate. I just don't keep them in there for 2 or 3 years or even months.
Oh yeah, no, because you got to worry about stuff seeping out of the plastic into the water, especially if it heats and cools and so on.
So,
Yeah.
So every couple weeks I'll take and drink one, toss a new one in there.
Yeah,
so.
Definitely a good idea. I know the summertime I just keep a case of water in my vehicle. I'm always grabbing bottles of water out of there when I'm done mowing, or when I go out to the range, I'll go through 2 or 3 bottles, and I just always have one on standby. Or take the dog for a walk. It's nice to have it too. So. Definitely an option. Water is going to be one of the topics we're going to move on to here in a second. Another option I wanted to show you guys for kind of SHTF prepping. They're a little pricey, but these little ER bars, these are 3,600 calories. They taste like shortbread cookies. They are delicious. This one's got an expiration date of September of 2020. And
send me one.
these are great. They're heavy, man. They're dense, 27 ounces.
Yeah, I have some of those in my bag, my grab and go bag.
They're not. The bad thing is they're about $8 a pop. But
have something like that in there.
Go ahead. What's that?
So if you ever keep food in your vehicle, have something like that. Don't have a canned good or MRE or something like that. Have something dense that's like that.
Oh, this is 1,800 calories. If you're not moving, if you're sitting in your car, you should be able to break this up over 2 days. 1,800 calories is low for most full grown adults, but it would be enough to last you 2 days if you had to. Bad thing about these is when you get them, you need to make sure that they're vacuum sealed tight. A lot of people complain on Amazon when they ship these, they put them in like a padded envelope, and if they get hit or they get punctured, they immediately inflate and it's shot. You'd have to call Amazon and get a replacement. So if you have any kind of air that you can feel in the bar if it's not sealed tight, because I think these are meant to be just like stored in a boat. They're approved by the Coast Guard. I think they're like a ration bar that they would give somebody that they find on the ocean, or people keep them in their boats where they just don't move. And the cool thing about this, it says the temperature range is 22 below 0 to 149 degrees Fahrenheit. So I think I need to throw one of these in my vehicle, because right now I just keep like a box of Cliff Bars, because those will keep for 6 months at a time. I figure if I'm going to eat it, I want to enjoy it a little bit, but still get a little bit of protein, still get a little bit of sugar, So this is another option, but at $8 a pop, $7 a pop delivered for 2 days worth of food, and you're going to be eating the same thing the whole time. Granted, you're going to stay alive and you're not going to care, but you want to make sure that. What's that?
But the thing is, it's 2 days. If you can't eat the same thing 2 or 3 days in a row.
Oh yeah, it ain't
gonna matter. You might as well call it quits.
Yeah. And I'm looking at the package. You've got a pretty good supply of vitamins. Some of these 40-50% of your vitamins that you need. 9 grams of saturated fat for 3 ounces, which is like 1 brick. So I mean, 3 of these, you've got a full day's worth of saturated fat. 19 grams of total fat. So I mean, you've got that's another option to consider, especially if you have no preps. One good thing about those is they don't take up any space. You buy 5 or 6 of those and you could go a week if you needed to. So I mean, that's something to consider too.
Can I plug something?
Go ahead, man. Yeah.
If like a absolute dire situation, like almost like Katrina, your most important thing, in my opinion, is water.
Let's move into water. Let's do water. Let's talk water.
You can't exactly find water outside, whereas if you step outside your home and you look around, you can easily spot like a squirrel or something. That can be your. I know it sounds kind of crude, but it's a food source. Like if you had to come down to it, it will be a food source. But that's what I'm saying. If it's an absolute dire situation. Now I'm not saying don't prep food, but I'm just saying if your food preps run out, say after a month of no power and just everything going crazy, then yeah, sure, a squirrel or a bird or two will be a pretty okay food source for just you.
Squirrel, bird, rabbit.
Well,
snake.
There in my area there's deer, so I don't care if they're in season or not. If I'm a month without power, I'm gonna shoot me a fucking deer.
Same.
Now,
well, if there's a month without power, there's gonna be no deer left because there's other idiots like out there shooting them.
Yeah.
G-Webs always talks about that. He always mentions that the game would be cleared out within 30 days. You can expect your area to be barren. If you can fish, if you have a way to safely fish, a lake, a river.
There is a river behind my property, and I do have a creek all along my property.
Oh, you can find all kinds of stuff
from the house.
Yeah, yeah.
I could probably rig something up to where my house takes the water from the creek and filters it, because
Yeah.
shit, you know.
Now for us, wintertime, we're screwed. I mean, we would have I would have no access, no easy access to fishing. I wouldn't go drill a hole in a frozen lake, in an SHTF situation. So for me, I've got to kind of plan ahead for wintertime if we would have a power outage for more than a couple days. See, I hear you there, but let's talk about water a little bit. Some of the different options that you have for prepping your water supplies. Do you guys all have a life straw? Do you own one of those? I mean, I don't care any particular brand. Do you have one?
Yeah, I have a couple. I also have one of those ceramic water filters. I have 3 55-gallon drums full of water out in my garage. Granted, I don't rotate it, but that's why I have the filters I'm going to filter through.
Yeah, I have one of the gravity filters. One of the bags. Right. One of the large bags. I think it's Katadyn is the brand. And that's pretty cool, because I mean, it's not for on the go like a life straw or something like that, but it's not its purpose either. It's to put a bunch of water in and hang it and come back an hour later, 2 hours later, 3 hours later. So
yeah, you want to make sure that you don't. Hey, look, Foos is we got some live action shooting, no pun intended. Nice. When it comes to like a Brita filter, those are made to basically take tap water and filter them out. Whereas if you get your live straws, I think they're made for the more, your heavier bacterias and parasites and things like that you'd have to worry about. So I wouldn't just go take your little Brita filter down to the pond and scoop it in there and filter it and drink it. You'd want to make sure you get something serious. Now here where I live, we've actually got groundwater like crazy. We sit on one of the biggest aquifers in North America, and there's wells all over the place. There are people, my neighbors, have their own well in the backyard. So when they hook up the hose, they can just turn it on and use it. I don't know if it would just be clean to drink right off the tap, but know what your water sources are. Like if your power goes out and you don't have a water pump for your house underground that's going to be running, you might be able to find a pressurized well that you could use. Know where the nearest stream or body of water is that you could get some water, especially if you live in like a dense urban area. If your tap doesn't work, what are you going to do? Now, granted, you got your water heater. That's something that a lot of people don't take into consideration. You could consume water out of the water heater if you had to.
It's 40 gallons of water or more.
I'd say you might want to just maybe run that through like a Brita filter or something along those lines, because that's going to have a lot of sediment in it, especially when it gets towards the bottom of the tank, or what comes out. A lot of the times the spout's on the bottom of your water heater to drain it. And so you got to be careful about that. Let's see. So John Z is saying, hey, you got the sound of gunfire in the background. Good morning, guys. There's a water.
He's not doing it nearly fast enough.
What's that?
He's not shooting nearly fast enough. I want to hear.
I'm going to let the sound go, so you guys are just going to have to. It's good for us to be able to talk through this. It's good for us to be able to talk through the gunfire. Awesome. Let's see. I got John Z talking over on the YouTube side. There's a company that made a similar filter to Sawyer that has a water collection adapter that comes with it, so you can grab any dry bag and made it a drip filter system. There you go. You have a lot of options. The key is that you just go out there and do something, that you've got some kind of option going on. Bottled water is nice. You've generally got about a 2-year shelf life with bottled water, especially if you keep it at a stable temperature, say in a basement or in your home someplace where the temperatures aren't going to vary much. You're looking at about $4 a case for 40 bottles if you need to build up a water stock.
What I've been thinking, and I know this is bad to mention this, but you also, believe it or not, you also do, even in a shit hits the fan situation, still need alcohol, whether it's drinking or whether it's antiseptic alcohol. You can use the drinking alcohol for antiseptic if it's just straight alcohol. What I've been thinking is possibly setting up a filter outside with a still, just so I could, make my own alcohol. Not to try and do something illegal, but just because the factor that, hey, who doesn't want their own still?
You should market White Lightning antiseptic. You could 100% natural, organic, non-GMO. You've got that option, man. I would definitely say do it. That's definitely a good idea, especially if you've got the climate where you can have an outside still, year round. I would.
As I said, the creek isn't that far from my house. We're talking like I think about 20, 30 feet.
Okay.
So literally within walking distance.
There you go. Trying to think if
I've-
there's a way we can incorporate your name. How about Night Lightning? Ooh, there you go. Night Lightning. Uh,
Strike lightning with a Y.
strike one
Strike
lightning.
lightning. There we go. There we
Strike
go.
lightning. Strike lightning. Grain alcohol.
But you got to make the lightning have a Y in it instead of an I.
The lightning comes down. It like forks down into a Y and it hits the ground.
Yes. Yes.
That would just be awesome. There you go. Strike lightning. 100% organic, non-GMO, antiseptic.
Well,
Sweet, man. Yeah.
the thing is, remember back in the day, in the late 1800s, that's all they had for antiseptic. They would just use whatever drinking alcohol they had on hand.
Yep.
So,
And, Tony's saying on the gun channel side, it is not illegal to make your own alcohol. I mean, I think
it's illegal to sell it. It's illegal to sell it, but it's not illegal to make your own for your personal consumption, and even in prepping cases. So
I know we don't really care, but is there a limit on how many gallons you can legally make in a year yourself?
No,
there is not. Okay, I don't know.
As long as you keep it and store it for yourself.
Yeah.
Though there is a stipulation, you are allowed to give it away as a gift, as you don't get anything in return.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But at the same time, remember this is stuff that's been in place because of the prohibition that they never got rid of.
Yeah.
But the issue is, this is still kind of important because you're going to need some form of antiseptic. You're going to need even alcohol. I would say you need some form of alcohol in general as well, just because the factor that, remember, in a long enough situation, your painkillers are going to run out.
Oh yeah.
Or they're going to expire, whereas alcohol doesn't expire.
Think of the barter factor on a jar of distilled alcohol. What that could bring you 6 months after an SHTF situation. Say you've got a community that is set up around you, and you guys, that you trade and barter or whatever. And also, if you go, you say, well, I've got some triple antibiotic I got at Walmart. I got a big old tube of it. It's going to dry out and it's going to go bad within a couple of years. It's going to lose its effectiveness because it's a chemical, right? It's produced to be used. Once you open it, it's not going to last forever. Where I think that your grain alcohols, your distilled alcohols, are definitely going to have a much longer shelf life, if not indefinitely. This is going at it again.
No,
we're watching this group. We have to pause momentarily to let Foos. We don't want to interrupt his shooting. Nice. That was a good group there.
Mute me anytime you want to.
What's that?
Mute me anytime you want to.
I don't know. They seem to be liking it on the gun channel side. They're saying, hey, live shooting. I think it's good for us. So, Hemi says he's got plenty of Busch Light stocked up. I guess if we had to, man, we could make it work.
Well, when I'm talking alcohol, I'm not talking beer. Okay, I'm talking straight up. Either making your own moonshine technically.
Yeah.
Or
Everclear.
I guess Everclear, or if you want to go the extreme method, absinthe.
Yeah. Don't you have to have some wormwood around to make that stuff, though? I don't really know much about.
Well, you do and you don't. So
if you want the good stuff, right?
If you want the good stuff, yeah.
Now talking about water storage real quick, does anybody here have any kind of nice trick with you, especially having an acreage and a big house? Do you have any kind of runoff system at all that you use?
No. I just store a ton of water. I've got like what is it? It's not 15. Well, those large. It's not 15 gallon. It's not a 15 gallon. It's the larger one. I've got one of those. It's just filled with water.
Okay.
I just filtered the tap water and just threw it in there.
Now,
gotcha. I know a lot of people have like runoff systems with like overflows in it with gutters, so they can collect what comes off their home. So they have something, for gardening. I wouldn't think you'd necessarily want to drink that just because you'd have to worry about parasites, unless you had it sealed in a way that you wouldn't have to worry about it. But that is a collection option, especially if you live in a place that gets a lot of rain.
No, with that, I filtered the water that went in it, and I filtered the water that comes out of that drum, so it's good enough for me.
Cool.
Now, in where I live, storage of water,
boil water, and you're good to go.
Hey, Tony's with us. How we doing, Tony?
I'm all right.
Cool, man. Cool. Hey, Tony, real quick, can you share with us a little bit? I know you said last week that you don't do a lot of food prepping. Is that right? Do you have any storage buckets for emergencies or Any kind of
Nope.
like mountain house buckets or anything like that?
Nope. I got a few MREs that my daughter drug in here because she's in reserve, but no, I got a freezer full of food.
Gotcha.
And we'll be having a large party if the shit hits the fan because I'm gonna have to do something with this shit so it don't just rot.
Yeah, yeah. They just have a massive cookout. Tony, what about water? Do you have like a water filter system at all that you use, like a life straw?
Nope.
Or bottles of water? Or do you have a source of fresh water if you needed it?
I have a well here on my back porch, and I have a creek about 100 feet away.
So you got access to water year round, even in the dead of winter. You'd be okay getting water out of the well.
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. On the YouTube side over there, they're saying "party at Tony's." Woohoo! So just let us know. We'll just give us a day's notice. As soon as the power goes out, just say, "Hey guys, cook out of my house. Come on over."
I believe that will be the silentest invitation system you ever heard.
Oh yeah, there you go. There you go.
I'll do the cooking. Let me know.
Exactly.
You can
TM can cook. Travis can cook. All right.
Actually, Tony, I would accept that one because he's a chef.
If he's willing to cook, he's welcome.
So that's something else I prep. You said, hey, if shit is a fan situation, give us a day's notice and we'll be there. How are you going to get there? So what I do is my truck has 36-gallon fuel tank. So what I do is I never let the thing go under half, and I have enough fuel in jerry cans to fill it up. So I know I could go about 650, 700 miles, and no matter what. So that's something else you got to think about is if you need to get somewhere, how are you going to get there? So jerry cans, fill your can up, fill your vehicle up.
My Suburban holds 44 gallons of gas. So
nice.
Yeah.
I try to not let it get down below like half or 3/4 of a tank just because I don't want to go to the gas station and pay to fill it when it's that low.
Yeah.
Fair.
So yeah, it's gonna get a little pricey. Foos, what kind of shelf life can we expect from that gas? Do you put stable in those jerry cans or?
I put stable.
Okay.
So I do is I do use stable, and every spring I take and whenever it gets down to about half, I'll take and I'll put that fuel into the truck and go fill up the jerry cans and put more stable in it every spring.
Okay.
Are your jerry cans sealed?
The truck that's too far. What?
Are your jerry cans sealed?
Yeah, they're actual jerry cans.
Yeah, it'll last quite a bit longer if it's sealed, especially if you put stable in it.
Oh, absolutely. I know it will, but it's like why risk it type thing. I mean, toss me in the truck. Before I had the car and I only had 2 of them because the car had a smaller tank. This one has a bigger one, so I bought a third. I'm going to be getting a fourth to have 20 gallons. So it's just something to think about. Make sure wherever you're going to go that you'll be able to have enough fuel to get there.
Yeah.
A tip for you guys who want to store gas: if you can find gas that doesn't have alcohol in it, store that.
I just made a comment on that. A lot of people don't realize with the 10% ethanol how that can affect your vehicles and what that does to the shelf life of the gas. I know a lot of states you can't even get non-alcohol additive gas. Luckily, where I'm at, I can get it. I pay 30 cents more per gallon, and I have to run it in my Jeep because the 10% ethanol causes misfires. It causes it's bad in a 17-year-old, 16-year-old vehicle. It's not a good thing. So if you can source anywhere, just get yourself a solid 20 gallons of it, and you should be better off. It's definitely worth it to run.
I heard there's a good review on Scifi online.
On what again?
Well, Scifi, S-E-F. I heard there's a good, for your generator and stuff.
Yeah, well, as long as it runs that mix. Guys, if you don't know what Scifi is, I did a video a couple weeks ago on Scifi small engine fuel, and it comes in the cans at Walmart. It's like $5 a can. I was running it at my chainsaw because I get tired of pre-mixing my fuel, and I don't use the gas up quick enough, keep having to waste it. It's a 2-cycle fuel. It's pre-mixed, and those cans would keep indefinitely. So get a couple of those. You only get a liter for $5 or $6. So you got to keep that in consideration.
I've got like 10 of those because I got 2 chainsaws. I got 2 chainsaws.
Okay.
I'm not awake this morning, by the way.
Oh.
If you can find it, that Coleman lantern fuel for gasoline campwear.
Yeah.
Lanterns and stoves and whatnot. Your vehicle will run on that because that's just a low octane unleaded gas.
We have vehicles. There's a lot of farm trucks out here in Nebraska that are outfitted to run on, I'm assuming it's propane. They've got the tanks and they've got the systems in the back of their pickups and they run on it. So I know that there's vehicles that guys have converted or can run on it if they need to.
Propane sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Guys, over on the YouTube side, Scott is telling us that there's a website you can go to that will help you find non-ethanol gas. So if you're like, well, I don't ever see it anywhere in my area. And a lot of times you don't even notice the sticker at the pump. It might just say, enhanced with ethanol additives or minimum 10% ethanol, maximum 10% ethanol additives. Find it online if you can get it and pay a little bit more. Get a 5-gallon can going, get some jerry cans, build up your gas stocks. Trust me, it's definitely worth the difference in the price that you pay. Tony, what were you going to say, man? I'm sorry.
Basically, what Night Strike was saying about the just putting up still.
Yeah.
Most modern vehicles can be made to run on straight alcohol.
I converted the Supra to run on E85.
Did you change out your fuel lines and did you put a special fuel pump in and because it will that stuff is corrosive as hell. I mean, unless your vehicle's made for it. I mean, I know you know this, but I mean, we sell it a lot out here, and unless you've got one of the eco-friendly vehicles that can run it, and a lot of guys run the 10% ethanol in their power tools, and that can cause your gas-powered tools around the yard and stuff, and it eats up fuel lines, and it causes problems with carburetors and diaphragms in the carburetors.
Anything that has to do with fuel, basically, the O-rings, the rubber O-rings, the fuel line, whatnot. If it's rubber, you want to replace it with a synthetic type of O-ring and hose. That way, he can use E85, or say he needed to tear the engine out and put a diesel engine in and run it off a straight biodiesel. He could still do that because he had already replaced all those O-rings and hoses.
Oh, that would be pretty cool. Diesel Supra.
Yeah, or you seen the vehicles that run on cooking oil? Yeah. Guys convert their old Benzes to that. Yeah.
Believe it or not, I've seen someone that tore out like an old one of the I don't remember what model Volkswagen, but they tore out a Volkswagen diesel engine and threw it in a Supra.
You're giving me bad ideas.
No, this is in case shit hits the fan. Just grab the nearest diesel engine and just throw it in. It'll be fine.
Get a diesel out of like a Land Cruiser or a 4Runner, JDM, and drop it in your Supra.
John Deere forklift.
Hey, there you go. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, you might have to beef up your front springs a little bit, but I think it's possible.
He'll be fine.
No, but I got a freaking Suburban, man. It'll take that.
I replaced all the fuel lines and fuel pump, injectors, everything in that, because when I first got it, everything was all like cracked and destroyed. So I'm like, I'll get all the synthetic stuff. And then I went to a shop and they put in a little tune on the ECU to be able to run the higher octane ethanol.
I was wondering about that because you would have some massive misfire unless the car was designed to run in the first place, So it just detects it automatically. Then you don't have to run. You don't have to flash the ROM or anything like that to run on E85.
No,
okay.
It's they actually took an old ECU out of a turbo 7M GTE, and then they put it in my car, and they basically reworked that ECU.
Gotcha. Yes, you got a lot. Fuels definitely. Alternative fuels, definite.
Well, that's just something.
Newer Fords that have the EcoBoost.
Mm-hmm.
You may want to really stock up on fuel because those are only rated at E15.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's they. Some of your turbo cars and some of your high performance cars, anything with a turbo likes premium fuel. It's kind of hard to run a turbo vehicle on regular gas.
Yeah.
And I've been told they actually run better on E85 too. With they agree more with the compression and the turbo and stuff. So, yeah. Cool. Foos, what's up, man? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, buddy.
Oh, nothing.
Okay. Okay, going back to the list of topics, we talked about the fuel preps, we talked about the food preps, we talked about the water preps. Let's talk a little bit about medical supplies. Do you think it's a good idea to stock up on anything in particular, or what do you guys do for your medical preps? AWAG, let's start with you. What do you do? Do you just a basic first aid kit? Do you have kind of a more advanced kit that you built up? Do you have a trauma kit? What do you do?
It's kind of sad. I'm trying to work on a kit, but right now I do not have a medical kit.
Okay.
And but what I see it as is I've been trying to do some research on it, and my parents both kind of worked in the medical field a little bit, so I get pointers from them.
Okay.
But in a place where society is shut down, essentially, anything and everything damaging to your body will kill you eventually. Like even if a small paper cut can get infected,
Yeah.
if you don't treat it
Staph
fast
infection.
enough, it
Yeah.
can get to the point where you have to cut off your finger or something. But it can get to the point where it can kill you.
Yeah.
Especially because you are in an unclean environment.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So my priority right now is stocking up on like minor cuts and bruises kind of deals, like band-aids, like maybe a large band-aid in case you like scrape your knee or something. Antibiotics, even like not so much muscle relaxers, but there's a thing that I use called Voltaren. If you're out running around all day trying to procure resources for your family to be able to survive, your joints and stuff will start hurting after a while.
Lactic
So
acid's going to be kicking in. Yeah.
yeah, so some of those things like your actually got a tube of Voltaren right here. It's dilofenic sodium topical gel. It's for all
I'm a
you
fan of the
science
Voltaren
people.
myself.
Yeah, I mean it helps out a lot.
Is it kind of like sports cream or Bengay or something like that? Is it kind of have like Asper cream or whatever?
It's I think it's prescription only.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Something else you got to do for shit hits the fan is get out, start exercising, start seeing what your body cannot do.
Yeah.
Because if you start doing something your body can't do, that could kill you. That could do whatever. And learn how, like you were talking about lactic acid, learn how to work through that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
hey, go out and play an air.
That stuff is actually mind over matter.
Yeah.
Especially
Go out and play.
Acid. It'll hurt like a son of a bitch, but you can still move the day two after being nice and sore.
Yeah. Go out and play a 1 hour airsoft match, and you'll know what your body can do.
Yeah. Or if you don't go to the gym, go to the gym and work out your entire body for a day or two, and then you wish you hadn't, but you'll about who you are.
Yeah. I wouldn't do airsoft, but I used to do a lot of paintball when I was younger.
Oh yeah.
Because paintball is more intensive than airsoft, because paintball, you get welts the size of paintballs. It has bruises. So, fuck airsoft.
Well, for a lot of guys,
it's more realistic.
Yeah, it's going to get you out there quite a bit.
I don't know. I think paintball's more realistic because you have to have war wounds.
True. Or just do what I do. The best diet plan I've got so far is we got a dog. We got a dog that we have to walk about 3 times a day, man. No. Last time I checked, I wasn't. I do like Korean food. I'm a big fan of kimchi, but no. I'm just saying that you get yourself a dog that has a lot of energy that will get you out. I mean, I'm out at all times of the day. Sometimes it's 95, 100 degrees out. We'll go a half mile or a mile, just go around the neighborhood, going on the track.
Oh, you're going that route. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
no, just
you're going the other route. That's a step in the back. No, wrong direction.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it lets me to kind of know what my physical limits are for moving and walking. And granted, I'm not even laid down with gear or anything like that, but still, it's like, okay, it's 95 degrees. I can go 20 minutes just soaked, and then I feel awful. It gives me a good idea, kind of build up my endurance a little bit. So that's been good.
And if it hits the fan situation, the dog also doubles as a garbage disposal. If you have any table scraps, right there.
And a backup food source if it really gets bad.
No.
Well, if it's life or death, you don't want to consider it, but You know, would you rather die of malnutrition and starving, or, you know, it's not
I'd go out and find something.
true. If there's anything left, you know, if it's totally barren, you know, it's, yeah. I was thinking more of almost like a second security source, but you also have to worry about barking. If you have to bug out and you've got your dog with you. I mean, my dog, he's very, very smart. He does not bark at other animals. He doesn't bark at other dogs. He barks when I get him excited and we're playing, you know, running around and stuff in the yard. But he's not a yipper. But some of these dogs we walk by, these little terriers and stuff, man, they just flip out. They just go nuts.
Travis?
And so, yeah, what's up?
They have these cool things
Bark collars.
called muzzles.
Well,
you
yeah.
put on a dog.
Oh, yeah.
So they don't bark.
So I was going to say, get yourself a bark collar if you need to bug out, or get a muzzle so that the pooch doesn't give away your location if you're trying to go someplace, you know, someplace else where you have to say go hide, or if you got to bug out. Yeah.
So the pooch doesn't screw the pooch.
There you go.
Muzzle will not stop the dog from barking. You make it a little quieter, but that's some still yap like hell.
Also, something about dogs is when they get hungry, they'll find food, and you can follow them to food.
True. Just let him go. I know mine is nuts with rabbits. He can smell and point me in the direction of a rabbit. He's a little quirky, man, but he's just like, he's on, man. He'll spot a rabbit at like 40, 50 yards. He's like looking over there, and he wants to go chase it. So we've had a couple runs around the neighborhood, freaking my neighbors out, but it's fun. I got him trained to go seek out rabbits. Like if I can live on rabbit for a while.
So if you get a dog, get one that's a working dog. Just don't get like a little poodle or something that is worthless and shit is a fan.
Yeah. Clay is saying you guys are not going to starve for a month. I hope not, man. Look at me. I got enough onboard food supplies to last me a month if I need to.
Are you talking about the gut?
Yeah, no, me too, man. Right there.
Hey, Travis, we got some tickets ringing in here. I'm probably gonna have to cut out.
Hey, no problem, Travis. Dude, thanks for joining in, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Well, we'll talk this week too, in Matt's chats and everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. Matt's moving. I heard he sold his house. He may not be. I need to ask him if he's gonna be doing chats. He's gonna be busy.
Oh, he did. I mean, are we supposed to reveal this, or was this going to be a?
I think we shouldn't talk about it. We should let him make the announcement.
Okay, I'll go back and delete 30 seconds of this podcast when we're done here. So.
No, you don't have to.
Welcome to the wonderful world of the internet, where there are no secrets.
There aren't.
I'm just excited, man. He's gonna be 12 hours from where I live. We've talked about a couple times about me running out there and just chilling or doing some hunting or getting out of season tag for some hunting or some shooting and stuff. So that's awesome, man.
I can't wait for his first video when it's like 7 below zero.
He's gonna be running with a knife. He's gonna be running with like a knife, chasing after like a wolf or something through the mountains, all Grizzly Adam'd out. He's never enough pelts. Yeah. I told him I kind of made him feel bad. I said, "Do you realize that the Idaho deer tag is like $19.75?" He's like, "Oh my god!" Sometimes you get buy one get one free if they've got a thick season for deer. So yeah, $20, man. Go get your deer.
Wait.
Yeah.
Idaho, no, Idaho.
Ah, geez. Don't call me a garden tool. Man, we've had this discussion. It's bad enough you bought the last Makarov. Now you want to insult me. Now you want to go insult me. You know what?
Well, don't worry. Don't worry, Travis. In a shit hits the fan situation, if he dies, you can have that Makarov back.
This is true. I mean, that's definitely not. Yeah, it's an option. It's an option.
I'm surprised the Makarov hasn't showed up in the shit hits the fan story yet.
Well, the thing is, the Makarov works. The Sky does not.
Okay, the Sky works now. The Sky has a new slide, barrel, and guide rod spring combo. The Sky works. I don't have it anymore, but it works. It worked for 200 rounds, no problems, which I did not have before. So it's gone now. It's gone to a good place, but it works.
The funny thing is, I went to a gun shop yesterday, and they had a whole bunch of Sky CPX-1s in there, and I thought of you. I wanted to take a picture and send it to you.
I'm going to tell everybody right now, it never fails on Matt's Sunday morning Trigger Time chats. They'll say, "Hey, would you recommend the CPX2?" And Matt usually comes in and says, "Well, Travis P11 has had one." I recommend one. If anybody watching this is on the line, I'm not hating on the company. I daily carried one for 3 freaking years. All right. What happens around 800 or 900 rounds is your extractor is going to start to wear out. And I shot nothing but brass through that thing. All right. And that is bad. I mean, I started having major issues. Frame pins, okay, they've been selling that gun for I don't know how many years, and they still haven't changed the frame pin design so that the frame pins don't walk out within like the first 100 rounds. Again, I was having FTE, and it freaked me out. My first shot would work, my second shot would FTE, or I'd have a light. I mean, I could not. It freaked me out. I quit with that gun. I'm done with Sky, so I'm trying to separate myself.
Speaking of the Sky, and thinking of Travis, is I got an email like yesterday that Sky pistol, the CPX ones were on sale for like $189, and I immediately thought of Travis as I saw that.
Nope, they're $169 right now.
Go
really?
get it.
$169 elsewhere. Wow.
Yep. Yeah, I just saw that. I just saw that the other day.
Awesome.
I forget where, but
I told you, Travis, you should have just kept the Jimenez and gotten rid of the Sky because the Jimenez worked.
That's true.
Well, you know what's funny is I actually sold the Jimenez and my H&R partner pump, and I went out and bought a Mossberg 88 SP because I wanted it for 3-gun competition because it's got like an 8 or 9 round magazine tube.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
You and Never Enough really need to get together with your Mavericks.
I know we could have it. We'll do our first video. We'll have a Taurus Maverick Day where we just shoot nothing but our Taurus pistols and our Maverick 88s and show the world that they work. My recommendation, hey, I'm going to say this right now. If anybody's on the wire, if they want to get a CPX2, if you want a double stack 9, go buy a Taurus PT111 G2. All right? I've got multiple family members that have them. My stepdad has 2 of them. And, I mean, I've taken mine and hopped it up a little bit. You can get them for $179 from deguns.net. My local FFL has them for $220 right there ready to go. Granted, you got to pay sales tax, but there's no shipping on it. There's no FFL fee. So get a PT111 G2, double stack, 12 rounds, 12 plus 1. It's a good basic pistol. I mean, my stepdad's got probably 1,000 rounds through his, and it's unmodified, and it still runs. People complain about the trigger because it's got like a ½ inch of just pull with nothing before it hits the wall. You can get used to that. I mean, it's not, and the reset's really not as bad as you think. So,
if you really want a pistol,
yeah,
right here.
Oh yeah, with CZ75.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, man, do it. If you're gonna get a gun, if you don't have one yet, spend the money and get a nice one. I mean, I started off getting garbage pistols and working my way up the ladder. I should have just spent that money off the start and just got a nice solid pistol in the first place.
You're thinking about you could find about $350 one of these Israeli trade-ins. It's going to be beat to hell, but it's still going to function flawlessly.
Is that Classic Firearms that carries those?
Oh, a bunch of people. I think JD Sales does. I mean, there's a bunch of people.
Yep.
So.
Yeah,
you know what I carry?
AC's funny on the YouTube side. Yeah, what's that?
So you know what I'm carrying right now?
44 mag?
First edition Smith & Wesson Sigma.
Yeah, that works. That's basically a Glock.
I've had this gun for several years, and it works fine.
There you go.
It works well enough, in fact, that I bought a SD9. But I'm carrying this because I just wanted to get out of the cabinet for a while.
The SD9 VE, is that what you bought, the VE, the silver and black, the two-tone? Yep. Is that okay? I don't know what the deal was. I had one, and I was shooting it. I bought it, cleaned it, took it to the range. It had failure to return to battery issues. It had FTE issues. The guide rod on that thing was so flimsy, I could practically flex it. Like the end cap would bend when I would put it in the slide. So I ended up getting a Galloway aftermarket stainless steel guide rod spring combo with the same pound weight as the factory guide rod. And that smoothed it out right away. I mean, I had no problems. But then by that point, I was like $350, $375 into it because that was $40. I think I paid $320 or $330 for the gun. This is before you could get them for $300 or less. But it is a good option. That is a really good pistol. I would say that's probably like my next step up from a G2. If I was going to spend under $350, that would probably be the way I would go. That or maybe a Ruger 9E. Those are really good guns too. I had one of those. Hey, there we go. We should be timing Foose right now. We should have the timer going, and we can critique his shooting. Okay, last thing we'll talk about here is prepping firearms and ammo. Do you guys all have a setup so if you needed to bug out, you could take the ammo you need right now? If you had to go, if you had 5 minutes, would you guys have everything you need to feel like you'd be adequately prepared to leave? AY, what do you think, man?
Sorry.
Or Travis, let's start with you because you're going to be a little more limited on time. Do you
Yeah.
have like a bug out box ready to go with your?
I do, and this is something that I didn't really. I kind of came up with this on my own. I'm sure it's a thing and other people do it, but basically, I have 150 cal ammo can. You know, one of the nicer ones with the seal, and I have in it ammo for every gun I own. Or caliber for every, you know, I have some 12. I have even my 8mm Mauser I have in there. Not a lot of it, but just some of it. I have mostly 7.62 by 39 for my AK, 9mm and 40, because that's primarily, you know, what I would be using in that situation. But I also put in it a box of 380. I have a box of 45. I have a box of 38. We do have a 38, but you know. And I kind of had the idea that, you know what, if you can grab that and go, if something would happen to the, say you only do grab one gun and you have some kind of catastrophic malfunction, you could have 1,000 rounds of 9mm, but if you don't have a 9mm, it's not going to do you much good.
Yeah.
So I kind of figured, you know, if the shit really got ugly and you're out and about, you know, and you do come across the weapon, now I have I have a box, at least 20 rounds for it that I could use.
That's better than nothing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of my thoughts on that. But yeah, I mean, I'm probably grabbing my AK and, you know, either probably my 9mm because it's a higher capacity than my 40.
Yeah.
Because I think capacity is going to be important. You know. So,
go ahead. Don't write off a nice semi-automatic 22. Like a Ruger SR22 or a Ruger Mark, whatever. I'm just trying to just play off a Ruger, but give yourself a nice, because I mean, if you had some CCI mini mags or some CCI Stingers, and you got 500 rounds in a little brick, you know, the size of a Pop-Tart box, I mean, that could keep you alive in a bad situation, and it's not going to take up a lot of room. You know, you can get a nice brick of 525 rounds.
That's your that's your rabbits, snakes, stuff like that.
Yeah.
22 will kill people too, so.
Oh, I mean, when I walk the dog, you know, I'm wearing t-shirts and shorts. I have a Jimenez JA22 with CCI mini mags in it, and 5 or 6 of those in somebody trying to do me some harm. I mean, you know, it's
they always say too. I mean, the presentation of a gun is. See, but you know, the presentation of the firearm is going to do the job most of the time. You know, so. I mean, and then to pump a couple holes into somebody, even if it's a 22 or a 25 caliber or something small like that, you know, it's going to ruin their day. And, you know.
Well, what are they going to do? An SHTF situation, where are they going to go? What are they going to do? They now got gunshots in them. I mean, we're talking about a whole hypothetical situation, but the point is, have something basic that you could keep in your box. You could throw a little pocket 22 in there, and I mean, mine's usually reliable. Till about 150 rounds, and at about 150 rounds, it's carbon fouled up. I can do 100, 125 rounds my JA22, no problems. I've done that 3 or 4 times at the range.
Yeah. My J22 is reliable for maybe the first round, maybe.
Okay, but didn't you say yours was older? Is yours, because mine is only about 2 years old? I got a newer production.
Mine's really back there. Well, that was so. But
get yourself a new recoil spring, and you might be in business.
Yeah, mine does cool stuff like slam fire and.
Oh God!
I have Phoenix HP 22. And that thing is very punctual. It'll do the 150 rounds between easy enough too.
The Phoenix. And they're a little over $100, $115, sometimes $99 on sale. You know.
I paid about $150 for mine, but I got the 2 barrels.
Yeah. Is that so you can run 22 mag?
No. One's a 3-inch and one's a 5-inch.
Yeah. I've seen that, the little 2-barrel combo. So you have a longer barrel. Yeah, I've seen that before. Yeah,
and it's fairly accurate with that longer barrel. It's not worth a shit with the 3.
You know, you might be good for 15 feet.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Center mass.
15 feet center mass. It's probably going to work just fine, but 25 feet. You're just praying and flinging then.
AWAG, moving over to you. What do you have for like an emergency grab and go weapon stash? Do you have, or ammo stash? We're just talking ammo. Do you have a box ready to go if you got to grab it and go, or?
Um, if I'm home, I don't plan on bugging out unless it's like a chemical spill that's down the street from me.
And you got to
Um,
go. Yeah.
and I gotta go. But I don't foresee that happening, so I don't necessarily plan for bugging out. But
Yeah.
as Travis did say, I do have a 50 cal can that's just filled with various ammo. Yeah, I know it's kind of a mess, but these are,
Well, something's better than nothing, you know?
yeah, I mean, I got various amounts of 22, but I
Yeah.
actually, depending on the situation, I have 3 firearms for specific situations. With, actually, you know what? I'll start over here. I have a Savage Mark II.
Oh, yeah. Got one of
Eh,
those. Those are awesome. Awesome little guns, man.
Um, this is for if I'm out and about, if shit were to hit the fan, just completely balls to the walls. Everything's going wrong. This is for like small game, like squirrel, rabbit, or something. Um, this and maybe some defensive situations. I do
Hmm.
feel comfortable shooting this, even with 22 long rifle. I feel comfortable shooting this out to 300 yards. I've done it
Yeah.
before. It's incredibly hard, but I can actually probably hit a man-sized target pretty well on maybe like 8 times out of 10. But um, with this is basically your larger game like deer, elk, or various others.
Okay.
But if I'm if I'm out and about outside and everything's going wrong, there's were roaming gangs stealing people's stuff and like
Hmm.
killing them and stuff, I'm
Hmm.
taking this AK-74 with setup here
Oh,
is
yeah.
with the little velocity tip things that Hornady makes.
Hmm.
I love these things. I
HST
did,
points, I think is what they're called.
yeah. Now with the Mosin, I do have these handlers
SST.
Or
that I
SST
took.
points. Okay. Okay.
This will mess up somebody's day too.
You know, you
These are
crack off a
handlers.
couple rounds of your Mosin in your neighborhood, people will be
Oh,
running away. That thing will scare the hell. I mean, I know any
oh yeah,
rifle's going
and
to
I
be
even
loud,
got
but that thing
the
is like,
bayonet on
it's
it.
going to boom, man. I mean, that, like, I ain't going over there.
Yeah,
I ain't going in that
it's a
direction.
it's
Yeah.
a shorty one with the bayonet too, with the side
Okay.
folder bayonet. So
I see, Foos over there. You've got your home protection rig right there, huh? What do you got there, man? Foos, what are you
This
running?
is a 9 millimeter AR that I just picked
Oh,
up,
okay.
and I went to see what battery it has on it, and the primary arms, I'm not able to get the battery compartment closed up and tight.
Did you grab a
I can
spare
get it closed
battery
up
or
and
put a
tight
new
without
battery in it?
No, I was going to just buy extra ones. I
Oh,
wanted to
yeah.
see what it was,
Yeah.
and I can't. I mean, I can get on there, but within a couple shots, it pops off,
Oh, are you
and
going to
it's not
contact him? You going to try to get, do you
when
need
it's
to get a new
on.
sight?
But if I take the battery out of it, it's fine. If I take the battery out, I can tighten it up real well.
hey
Okay.
guys, I got
I
a
don't know
bolt.
what's up.
Thanks for the
Okay.
invite.
Hey, no problem. Man. We're going longer than usual. I just don't have, I got family showing up in a couple hours, but I've got time this morning, so that's why I'm just letting it roll. But AWAC, thanks for joining us, man. We'll meet again in a couple weeks, and we'll talk about our next topic, but we'll keep discussing here for a little while, and then we can wrap it up. But you guys, free to bail anytime you need to. It's not a problem.
All right, later
Thanks a lot, man.
guys.
Appreciate it. All right. Okay,
Bye.
Foos. See you later, AWAC. Foos, you were talking about that. So do you have the right battery in there or not?
Yeah, it's the same battery.
Okay.
I just went to see what it was to buy more, and I can't get the damn thing back on it.
Are the threads stripped out on the cap at all? Are they plastic or metal? Or is it metal on the cap and plastic or what?
Oh, they're both aluminum,
Okay. Okay.
but still, I think it is stripped.
I don't know.
But
You got your iron sights on there, though.
actually, on this one, I don't.
Oh, no, I guess I can't. Oh, it looked like you had one on the front there. I couldn't tell from the angle.
No, that's just since you don't need all that Picatinny rail up here, it's cut down for weight,
Okay.
and it comes back up.
Okay.
For your Picatinny for your front sight.
Well, I've got some wonderful knockoff Magpul M-Bus sights I'll be happy to sell you.
I have extra sights at the house.
Yeah.
I just haven't put it on this because I just bought this gun last week.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. What about you, Kfoos? Do you have kind of a grab and go ammo box, like a preferred ammo box that you like to
Yeah,
use, or what do
I
you
have
do?
mine's a little bit bigger than I have a 20 millimeter can instead of the 50 cal can.
Okay.
Again, I have like 209. I have mostly AK-74 ammo in it, 545. I have some Mosin. I have some 308. You know, a little bit of everything really. And then I have like right to the exit on my door, I have 3 ammo cans. They're bigger than 50 cal. They can hold about 12 to 1400 rounds
Oh
of
my God. Yeah.
7.62.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have 3 of those right to exit my house. So if I need to go, I'll just grab one of those as I'm heading out with an AK.
There you go. So again, it's nice to have that on standby in case you ever need to go that route too. So
Yeah, I have one of
yeah.
the. I guess it's a 20 millimeter mortar case, or a box. It looks
Okay.
like it's like a 50 cal on steroids. Yeah, I can get, I think, 1,500 rounds of 7.62 by 39 in that or something. It's a lot.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, they're nice, man. They're nice to have. At least I have 2 of them, but they're nice to have 1 or 2 of those.
Okay.
But of course, for me, if shit is a fan, I'm not leaving my house because I got about 60,000 rounds sitting in my house. So I'm not leaving.
What about your neighbors? Have you ever are you on good terms with your neighbors so that you kind of have an understanding that you kind of look out for each other? I know in some neighborhoods people don't even know who their neighbors are. They have no clue, who
My
lives across
neighbors,
the
no.
street. Yeah.
My
What's
neighbors,
that?
no. No.
Okay.
One is a rent house. That I have no idea who's there. And the other ones, they're the type of, oh, I need to eat tonight, so I need to go shopping today. Or, they're just not like they're living in la la land, like everything's always going to be perfect, always
Mm-hmm.
just go and get whatever you need. And I'm
Type-
like, sorry, I'm not gonna sit there and spend my resources on someone who doesn't give a shit.
the type of people who don't even prepare for the day.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Foos, what do you do when they show up at your door? Because you know that you're going to be the first place they're going to go to.
Shoot them, put them in the freezer.
I will say leave. If they don't leave, I have a firearm. I will make them leave. If not, and it's really shit hits the fan, sorry.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to see it come to that kind of a scenario, but again, that is not an easy situation to be in. I've got elderly neighbors next door, and I do know the people across the street, but I don't know if they're gun people. I don't know if they have any kind of prep going on. I mean, yeah, it's one of those things where you might be on your own island basically, in that kind of a situation. And yeah, like you said, with all the ammo in the house, bugging out's not always the best option. I mean, that should be the last option.
That's also another reason I got the truck. I could put all my ammo in the truck, and I do have a couple friends that, if shit needs to, I could go there. So
yeah.
I could toss everything in the truck. I could I could empty out my water drums and toss them in the bed. I could get everything I need to out in one truckload.
Okay. No, that's definitely the way to go. Now,
if I need to leave, it may take, several hours to pack the truck, but if I need to leave, I can leave. And if shit hits the fan, the truck's going to be loaded within an hour, and I'll just go to the truck and get what I need at the time. But if I need to go, I'm hopping in the 4-wheel drive and going.
Yeah, make sure that you've got kind of multiple routes figured out, because I know a lot of people like us, we've got one main highway, we've got one main freeway or interstate, and then country roads, and that's it. So you need to have an idea as to where you're going to go. If you're going to go anywhere, if you just need to get out of town, know multiple routes to get out of town, because if you have people panicking and running out of their neighborhoods, you might have one car accident and then boom, the road's blocked. If you can't get around on the yard for whatever, you can't drive around it, make sure you got another plan for where you're going to go. Again, just being prepared. That's all it is. Just kind of preparing for the worst. That's pretty much what it comes down to.
So I think this site's going back to Primary Arms.
Oh, no. Now, they've got a lifetime warranty, don't they? I mean, for the most part now. or do they just honor their warranty? Have they been good about? Have you ever contacted them about a return?
No, this is the first Primary Arms, and I got this off Amazon.
Okay. Oh, interesting. Tony, bug out scenarios at all? I know that would probably be your last plan, but if you had to go, do you have any ammo on standby where you could take off if you need to and grab what you need?
Well, no.
Okay.
I mean, I got it all in a freaking cabinet here.
Yeah.
I could throw it in a bag and take it. And I've got 2 buckets of 1,400 rounds of 22. So.
Oh yeah. Do you have some space around you, or do you have immediate neighbors within the vicinity?
Oh yeah.
Are you kind of
city block here?
Okay. Okay.
Small town. But I have
yeah.
absolutely no intention of leaving this place.
Yeah. Well, and you know, you live in an environment just like me where it's winter. Good luck surviving in January outside of your house unless you know what the hell you're doing.
Also, if you live in a electric house like I do,
yeah,
I have 15 to 18 gallons of kerosene and a kerosene heater that will heat my house up pretty freaking quick and get it hot, and I'll turn the damn thing off. And yeah, I mean, I tested out. 1 gallon of fuel lasts me about 2.5 days.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean, it'll heat me up. It'll heat that house up quick, and the house will stay.
Is this like an external system that you have that you're running it from, or what is it? Something you run inside the house?
It's an indoor-outdoor kerosene heater.
Oh, okay. Just like they have like the 2 radiating domes on them or whatever. Is that?
Yeah, it's a single one. But yeah.
Okay. Okay, I gotcha.
It's a big one. Yeah.
That's another. And so you're safe using that in the house, right? You got enough ventilation. Yeah. There's no.
Well, it's indoor-outdoor rated.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah, Charlie's got a good point. I have a fireplace too. You can heat your house with wood.
But that gives off signature.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like, if it's going to be just powers out middle of January, you got to heat your house. You know, it's not. Yeah. We're not saying like an SHTF deal, but just say it's branches down on the line. Yeah, it's amazing. The fireplace thing is our place has a fireplace. Charlie, just kind of a comment to you. I do go to a farm supply store, and they sell these little bio bricks. They're compressed sawdust. And I can burn 3 of those for 8 hours in my home, and it basically heats up the entire ground level, which then seeps down into the basement. So if you don't have wood, consider buying those because they come shrink wrapped in plastic. They're like $2.50 for 6 bricks. I've got several strips of those. So if I needed to heat the house for a couple of days, I could. They're just like a bio brick is what they're called. They're about the size of a mason brick, just a red brick. So consider that too if you need a way to heat the home. All right. Well, guys, that is pretty much the end of my list of different topics to cover. So hopefully you maybe learned something new that you didn't think about. I know we covered a lot of different ideas and topics, and as you can see, we all have our own approaches to different situations. Oh, hey, Darren Day is here. Darren, what's going on, man? Welcome.
None of us are right. None of us are end all be all.
We all have a different philosophy. I think maybe we could all agree that we won't leave our homes unless we absolutely have to, because once you leave the shelter of your home, you're now exposed to the elements of the world. I think that's one thing, even though we all have our own special ideas, our own different preps about what we do. The idea is the bugging out, you know, man, unless you got a place to go and you know how to get there and you don't have to worry about anybody else getting to you between there and home, try not to do that. At least have something in the home where you're ready to go, something where you could go for a couple days, if not weeks. For just have something. I mean, I know I'm preaching to the choir here. I'm sure all the people out in the comments, they do something, they have something on standby, but nobody's immune to it, especially when it comes to weather or it comes to civil unrest. I mean, those would be the 2 different things that you'd have to deal with. Foos, you got any parting words for us before we go ahead and call it?
No, but I'm about to run out of juice, so.
All right. Dude, I want to thank you for joining us, man. I appreciate you coming in and taking time out of your range time to be with us today and to share with us. I do appreciate the information. I think everybody's going to like it. Like I said, we'll have another one of these in a couple weeks. So thanks for joining us, man. You take care. Tony, any parting words at all? Anything you want to say before we go?
Nope.
All right. Like I said, just pay attention to what we say, and you might learn a few things, especially if you got family members that have no prepping at all. Maybe do something for them. You know, they might look at you kind of funny when you hand them a Mountain House bucket, but you're like, here, this will keep you alive for a couple of days if the power goes out. You know, I believe it or not, there's people like that. There are people that have, like Fu said with his neighbors, you know, they buy their food the day of. They don't ever stock up on everything. Hobby Master D, welcome, welcome. Okay, so Tony, thank you for joining us today. I apologize for not getting you the link sooner. I know the other guys brought you in about halfway in, so thanks for joining us again. Over on the, go ahead, Tony.
Thanks for letting me in here.
Cool, man. Always good to have your information. Clay's joining us on the gun channel side. Clay, thanks for being with us today. My thanks go out to all the panel. On the YouTube side, we got AC, Charlie, Hobby Master D. Got the basic Never Enough Ammo crew hanging out with us today. Darren's here, Grim's here. I've had a few people drop out earlier on just because we've been going longer than usual. Guys, thanks for joining us today. I do appreciate it. Scott was with us too earlier. So there you go, guys. This has been Caliber Corner number 8. Appreciate you guys watching. Again, you can check out my channel on YouTube. It's Travis P11. It's our 8th episode of Caliber Corner. You can check me out on gunchannels.com. It's Ordinary Average Guy Gun Channel is the channel. And then Caliber Corner is the second channel. You can do that. If you don't have a gunchannels.com account yet, you need to get one. It's very cool. I've met so many people going through gun channels. It's just been awesome. So there you go. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us today. This has been Caliber Corner number 8. We will talk to you soon. All right, goodbye.
I would like to say something.
Go ahead, Tony. Yeah, man.
Now is the time when people need to figure out how to survive with no food or little food.
Okay.
You know, not when you don't have no food. You need to figure that shit out while you have food.
I mean, look at the resources we have available to us where you can get those supplies to your house. You could go online right now and buy a 30-day food supply and have it in 2 days. You could go to your local grocery store, buy some canned goods, right? I mean, there you've got the resources. Gas is cheap and plentiful. We have electricity. We're stable. Go do that stuff now. What are you waiting for if you don't do it, right?
Right.
And if you have friends that don't, talk to them and say, hey, how would you feed your kids if we didn't have any electricity for 3 or 4 days? How would you feed your kids? Could you go for a week without going to Walmart?
Yeah, after something bad happens is not the time to work out how you're going to live.
Yep. Again, if you are a prepper, if you want a little laugh, just go to your little Walmart, go to your local Walmart or grocery store the day before a tropical storm's going to arrive or a snowstorm is going to hit. It's amazing how fast that store clears out, and don't think that's going to be there for you to use, you know, a day or two after that stuff hits, you know. I mean, just again, it's just because, you know, we want to see everybody just be safe, obviously. But Tony's got a good point, man. If you haven't done anything, what are you waiting for? You know, get it done. Sounds good. All right. So thanks again, Tony, Foos. All right, guys, we will talk to you soon. And this has been Caliber Corner number 8.